Welcome to the vocabulary lesson on fruits and vegetables. You'll see these words everywhere, on signs at the supermarket, at the farmer's market, in conversations about cooking, or when you're ordering at a taverna. So whether you're learning Greek for everyday use, shopping, or preparing for the Greek Proficiency Exam, this vocabulary is essential. Let's get started. Pause here and read a helpful tip on learning vocabulary. There is also a full video with more tips. Check it out when you are ready. Let's go over some key points for learning Greek vocabulary that will help you build a solid foundation. First, always check the ending of the word. In Greek, the ending tells you the gender almost every time. This is the key to choosing the right article. Second, once you recognize the gender from the ending, learn it along with the noun. Mastering gender early makes articles and adjective agreement much easier and saves you a lot of effort down the line. And finally, pay attention to the singular and plural forms. This lesson gives you clear examples to help you spot patterns and grow your vocabulary with confidence. Let's take a closer look at each of these points now. Now let's talk about the characteristics of Greek nouns. Understanding these will help you learn vocabulary faster and more accurately. First, the gender is easy to identify. Greek nouns follow predictable patterns, which makes it simple to match the correct article. Secondly, there are three genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. Knowing the gender helps you pick the right article and match adjectives properly. Third, Greek nouns change slightly depending on their role in a sentence, whether they're the subject or the object. This is important for grammar later on. And finally, the good news is Greek nouns follow easy patterns. So once you start recognizing those, it becomes much easier to know how words change. Let's keep going and see how this works with real examples. Just pause for a moment and read this slide. If you know the gender of the word, it sets the theme for the entire phrase. Knowing this is the second pearl of advice after the tips on learning the alphabet that I share with you. Know to identify the gender just by the ending of the word. This is the case 99% of the time, and the exceptions you can learn when they arrive in life. Imagine being correct 99% of the time. This is a huge advantage to you. If you know the gender, you can use the correct article. After that, it's easier to learn how to make the word plural. This is just a short introduction to gender, singular, and plural in Greek. To learn more, watch the full video lesson on Greek nouns and gender. In my lessons, I don't focus on grammar terms. I keep things simple and practical. But there are two terms I'd like you to learn because I know they'll really help as you go through the lessons. And they are nouns and articles. That's it, just those two. Understanding them will make everything else easier as we move forward. And now I'm just going to read what is on the slide. If you have any experience with the English language, you'll know what I'm talking about. What is a noun? A noun is a thing, anything. If you can put the word the in front of it, it's a noun. The dog, the car, the man, the happiness. In Greek, we also say the George, the Mary, and the Kostas. Got it? And now, what is an article? Easy. The word an, and the word the are articles. We have an indefinite article, which is a or an in English, and a definite article, the. Okay, so let's learn the gender of a noun, or a thing. Greek nouns have one of three genders: neuter, feminine, or masculine, as you can see on this slide. Now, when a word ends in one of these 8 endings, it will tell you the gender of the word 99% of the time. The neuter endings are o, I, ma. The feminine endings are I, a. And the masculine endings are is, as, and os. Here is a quick obvious tip. If there's no sigma, the Greek s, then it is not masculine. Also, don't try to memorize these all at once. You will have plenty of opportunity to cover these again. Just gradually acquire them. Now you have had an introduction to the singular noun ending of genders. Here's the brief lesson on how to make singular Greek nouns plural. Let's take a look at the endings of neuter nouns. So, when the word ends in o, you change the o to an a. When the word ends in I, you add an a. When the word ends in ma, you add a ta. Let's take a look at the feminine endings. When a word ends in I, you change the I to s. When the word ends in a, you change the a to s. And now the masculine. If the word ends in is, you change the is to s. If the word ends in us, you change the us to s. If the word ends in os, you change the os to I. Here is a tip. See the similarities between the feminine and the first two masculine. So, when you are learning Greek, right throughout your lessons, always observe the I and the a of the feminine and the is and the as of the masculine. They always have some kind of a relationship. When you see a masculine noun ending in os, they always operate by their own rules. View the lesson on gender, singular and plural for a more detailed explanation. Now, I already explained to you what an article is. Let's take a look at how they work. Again, we have the three genders, neuter, feminine, and masculine. We are going to discuss the definite article the for the purposes of our vocabulary lesson. Let's look at some examples. Let's take a look at the word the in all three genders. So for neuter, the word the for singular is to. The plural is ta. Feminine singular is I. And the plural is I. They have the same sound, just different spelling. Masculine, the singular is o. The plural is I. Let's look at some examples. These are practical examples using the definite article the. Neuter. To vivilio, the book. To spiti, the house. To mathema, the lesson. Feminine. I fili, the friend. I γυναίκα, the woman. I salata, the salad. Masculine. O fititis, the student. O andras, the man. O philos, the friend. Let's go over them one more time. Neuter. To vivilio. To spiti. To mathema. Feminine. I fili. I γυναίκα. I salata. And masculine. O fititis. O andras. O philos. Now let's take a look at their plural forms. neuter. Το βιβλίο, τα βιβλία. Το σπίτι, τα σπίτια. Το μάθημα, τα μαθήματα. Feminine. Οι φίλοι, οι φίλες. Η γυναίκα, οι γυναίκες. Η σαλάτα, οι σαλάτες. Masculine. Ο φοιτητής, οι φοιτητές. Ο άντρας, οι άντρες. Ο φίλος, οι φίλοι. Fruits and vegetables. When learning vocabulary with me, take the opportunity to observe the ending of the noun at the same time. The noun ending will help you identify the correct definite article, the, in Greek. Also pay attention to how the singular form changes to the plural. It's a pattern that will make future vocab easier to learn. Also focus on the stress mark on the word for the correct pronunciation. Let this become habit from the beginning, and it will make your progress much smoother. Το φρούτο, τα φρούτα. Το φρούτο, τα φρούτα. Το μήλο, τα μήλα. Το μήλο, τα μήλα. Το αχλάδι, τα αχλάδια. Το αχλάδι, τα αχλάδια. Η μπανάνα, οι μπανάνες. Η μπανάνα, οι μπανάνες. Το πορτοκάλι, τα πορτοκάλια. Το πορτοκάλι, τα πορτοκάλια. Το μανταρίνι, τα μανταρίνια. Το μανταρίνι, τα μανταρίνια. Το ροδάκινο, τα ροδάκινα. Το ροδάκινο, τα ροδάκινα. Το κεράσι, τα κεράσια. Το κεράσι, τα κεράσια. Το βερίκοκο, τα βερίκοκα. Το βερίκοκο, τα βερίκοκα. Η φράουλα, οι φράουλες. Η φράουλα, οι φράουλες. Το καρπούζι, τα καρπούζια. Το καρπούζι, τα καρπούζια. Το πεπόνι, τα πεπόνια. Το πεπόνι, τα πεπόνια. Το ακτινίδιο, Τα ακτινίδια. Το ακτινίδιο, τα ακτινίδια. Το σταφύλι, τα σταφύλια. Το σταφύλι, τα σταφύλια. Το λαχανικό, τα λαχανικά. Το λαχανικό, τα λαχανικά. Το λεμόνι, τα λεμόνια. Το λεμόνι, τα λεμόνια. Η πατάτα, οι πατάτες. Η πατάτα, οι πατάτες. Το μαρούλι, τα μαρούλια. Το μαρούλι, τα μαρούλια. Το καρότο, τα καρότα. Το καρότο, τα καρότα. Το κολοκυθάκι, τα κολοκυθάκια. Το κολοκυθάκι, τα κολοκυθάκια. Το λάχανο, τα λάχανα. Το λάχανο, τα λάχανα. Το κρεμμύδι, τα κρεμμύδια. Το κρεμμύδι, τα κρεμμύδια. Η ντομάτα, οι ντομάτες. Η ντομάτα, οι ντομάτες. Το αγγούρι, τα αγγούρια. Το αγγούρι, τα αγγούρια. Το καλαμπόκι, τα καλαμπόκια. Το καλαμπόκι, τα καλαμπόκια. Η μελιτζάνα, οι μελιτζάνες. Η μελιτζάνα, οι μελιτζάνες. Το μπρόκολο, το μπρόκολο. Το σκόρδο, τα σκόρδα. Το σκόρδο, τα σκόρδα. Here we have 3 ways to say or ask, how much does it cost? Specifically, it. How much does it cost? focusing on one single item. So we can say πόσο κάνει, πόσο κάνει, and to the right, πόσο έχει, πόσο έχει, and below, πόσο κοστίζει, πόσο κοστίζει, πόσο κάνει το καρπούζι, πόσο κάνει το καρπούζι, and you can add παρακαλώ at the end. Πόσο κάνει το καρπούζι παρακαλώ? Πόσο κοστίζει το πεπόνι? Πόσο κοστίζει το πεπόνι? Πόσο έχει το λάχανο? Πόσο έχει το λάχανο? And for more than one item, in other words, how much do they cost? We can say or ask, πόσο κάνουν? Πόσο κάνουν? Πόσο έχουν? Πόσο έχουν? And at the bottom, πόσο κοστίζουν? Πόσο κοστίζουν? Πόσο κοστίζουν τα μήλα? Πόσο κοστίζουν τα μήλα? Πόσο κάνουν οι φράουλες? Πόσο κάνουν οι φράουλες? Πόσο έχουν τα πορτοκάλια? Πόσο έχουν τα πορτοκάλια? Here are a few extra tips on learning vocabulary, so just pause and read, and I'm looking forward to meeting you at your first Greek lesson.